Maglang in the previous episode. Somewhere in the universe there is a special planet with unusual countries, one of which is the kingdom of magic languages, where all the royal nobility and retinue are parts of speech, and words are living actors of the language theaters. Love story of Prince Verb and Princess Pronoun. How it began. Tree of meanings and its fruit words. Royal magic roses and their importance. Birth of language. The wedding and the beginning of the main adventures. Maglang, the kingdom of magic languages. Maglang, Королівство чарівних мов. The wedding of the young prince of the kingdom of bright shades, how it was called this time, and young princess of the kingdom of the pastel shades, was gorgeous and incredible. The best artists tried to recreate the atmosphere of this holiday, as well as the living words, who were still visible and didn't know what danger awaited for them, and they have to disguise yourself. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. So the celebration has finished. The newlyweds went to a wedding trip, not to distant lands, but to the mysterious forest, which warmly met young people some time ago and got to know each other. It's better to spend the honeymoon away from extra eyes, because last time too much attention to take a break from. They had something to talk about, to keep silence together and to share impressions and dreams to each other. The honeymoon in the mysterious forest imperceptibly dragged on 9 months. No one bothered the young couple because they had a hiding reliable place and it didn't let strangers in. So when they realized that it was a lot of time past, their children were born, royal twins. First the son, Prince Noun, and 8 minutes after the daughter, Princess Adjective. They were extremely gifted children. From the first minutes were interested in everything their eye caught. Prince Noun was a little elder, and he was the first who reached the objects with his little hands, naming them. He also named his parents, the forest, everything that was in the forest, animals, plants, light, shadows. Princess Adjective described everything that called her brother. For example, forest, mysterious, beautiful, green. As usual in the kingdom, the children were immediately assigned their personal shades. The prince got the color of magical forest blueberries. Colors and pictures for communication in the kingdom decided not to abolish. After all, this is the history of the country, its culture. But implementation of the speech was inevitable, because pictures can't express everything. Some things could only be described in words. The color of magical pink forest berries was chosen for Princess Adjective. She said that it were the best, juicy, delicious, sweet, fragrant, beautiful and useful. Our future king Verb and queen Pronoun seemed to have gained wings for achieving their dreams that were above the clouds. Children are a continuation of their own parents, if love, respect and admiration of their talents are invested in them. The favorite toys of the royal twins were words, fruits of the tree of meanings, who also loved to play and to be friends of them. In those days, words were still a little wild, untamed, but sincerely trusted royal descendants. Harmony and understanding reigned in the silence of the mysterious forest. Everyone lived in peace and justice, because at that time no one knew that suddenly everything could change. But while there is happiness, you should enjoy it without thinking about the bad. It's easy. when you're a child and there are loving adults around you that protect from surrounding troubles. Even the nature of the mysterious forest was on the side of the royal young family. Guardian of the tree of meaning, Mr. Chameleon, responsible for the transfusion shimmering of root words in various meanings and forms, became a favorite of the family. Time passed, children grew up not by days but by hours, making happy their parents and forest dwellers. Prince Noun has already founded around him a whole fan club of word nouns that answered the question who and what. There were so many of them that they divided into separate groups: animals, plants, things, food, drinks, phenomena, feelings. Around the princess adjective also was formed its own fan club of words adjectives. They answered questions which one, which. This army of fans was even bigger than the army of princess fans, because sometimes there were several words adjectives for each word noun, their relative. For example, the noun color and the adjectives colored, multicolored, single-colored. Mr. Chameleon, the multicolored, taught words to change. It helped to convey the meaning or its shades better. If it would be his will, these changes could be endless, but the little prince and princess limited these changes. They left only the change of nouns and adjectives by numbers, genders, and cases. To express who is it, how many are there, and what are they, that's enough. The language that was born on the planet was the very first, therefore it had no example model. It will be later, when the Royal Scientific Expedition will open the magic portal philology at the pole of the planet, and it will answer many questions. And so far the language of Maglang was born almost from zero level, and was a little similar to every language of the planet Earth, but mostly similar to Ukrainian. The children grew up learning the local telepathic language of pictures and colors as well, although the creating and studying of the new unusual word language attracted them more. Thanks to versatile brain development, had more harmonious and balanced structure. It was developing of the figurative and abstract thinking. Children could imagine even what didn't exist earlier, but you could create it by fantasy. For example, earlier, when there were only pictures for communication, some things could not be expressed. How to say with pictures such words: beauty, intelligence, happiness, love, sadness, joy? You can convey only approximately the beauty that is meant now. For example, the beauty of the forest, man, animal, plant. For feelings it's almost impossible to express with pictures, only with words. So the new language was not only a means of communication, but also a great mind gymnastics, because it was necessary to think what to say, how to divide words into groups and correctly combine them. New fantastic horizons were opening up for the great change in the kingdom, so it was necessary to return to the palace. Moreover, the royal descendants were already expected there. And finally, the young family returned to the royal palace. Grandfather king and grandmother queen cried for a long time because of joy. Court royal painters eagerly began to paint portraits of the little crown-bearing twins. Everyone shared the news, many of which gathered in the palace and outside of the palace. For example, that the urchin of the tsardom of ignorance found out that his ex-bride got married. But the news about King Murlon the Dark and his anger because of unexpected marriage of the princess of the kingdom of pastel shades with prince of the kingdom of bright shades receded into the background. The main news was the return and replenishment of the royal married couple, and the citizens of Maglang were amazed that the words learned to multiply quickly, to change and to become even more interesting. There were so many words that it was necessary to prepare a place for them, because they often walked for whole days without houses and spent the night on tree branches, like birds. The king issued a decree to start building the huge Royal University of Words, in which it was planned to study the new language topic in depth, and provided accommodations for existing and future words. In addition, words were so unusual in the kingdom that it was decided to study each of their features separately. For example, their sounds, shades, their drawing, writing, their meaning and ways of using. Everything was just beginning. That's why elation and creative euphoria were felt. People studied words and words studied people. For years only telepathy and pictures. Now a new unknown world was opening up. A new profession appeared, phonetic sommelier. These people professionally combined sounds, their smoothness, melodiousness, similarity with colors, tastes, smells. Then sounds became phonemes, the smallest units of language. For example, in Ukrainian, 38 phonemes, in English 44, in French 38. But first, refined phonemes were created just for reserve. Then different languages were a mix of them. Over time, whole banks of phonemes appeared, colored liquids that made different sounds when shaken, and were carriers of information about all the phonemes of the native galaxy and neighboring ones too. As it turned out later, it was not the only benefit of phonetic liquids. They became ingredients of magic elixirs, the pearl of which was the elixir of longevity and immortality. Words also began to perform not only the role of means of communication. Words, living unique creatures, burst into the world of silent pictures and turned everything upside down. In positive sense, of course. At that time, no one had stolen them or changed their meaning into the contrary. It was born in the kingdom and it currently thrives in the theater of words, even a group of language theaters. At that time, the theater was making first steps, but the fame of the play of actors' words spread very quickly. The most interesting thing is that our working words have become so much universal that they can only be compared with bees. That is not only giving us honey, but propolis, pergal, wax, and a long list of benefits. Words are weapons, medicines, beauty, pride of the kingdom. And it's money, the official currency of Maglang. Words, banknotes, letters, coins. Yes, it's only their copies, but with all the signs of protection against counterfeiting. Very quickly the kingdom became a modern and distinctive country, envied by all its neighbors. Everything developed so rapidly that King Numeral, who was already in years, was tired of change, although sincerely rejoiced of the state prosperity. So he began to think about transfer of power to his son. He was very proud of him and loved him. But about this, it will be in the next episode. Maglang, in the next episode. King Numeral is retiring. Queen Adverb thinks it's great. Words and other wealth in the kingdom are being counted in the treasury. King Murlon the Dark plans to carry out the abduction of the millennium. To be continued. Далі буде.